Wendy we're here, reaching out to some of the uber-talented people who are performing at the ninth Faversham Fringe that has the reputation of being the friendliest fringe, and which kicked off on the 3rd and will run until the 26th of October. On Sunday the 12th of October at 4 o'clock in the Alexander Centre, there will be a reading from the Immigrant Queen. And today I'm talking to Peter Taylor Gooby about his book. Hi, Peter, how are you doing?
Hi, Wendy. Pretty well now.
Good. Okay, so Peter, what inspired you to write a book about the Queen of Athens, and how does it differ from your previous work?
It differs a lot from my previous work. I was an academic writing, I'm no doubt interesting papers for a very small group of people for all my life. Now I'm retired. I work for the food bank and I took up writing novels. I enjoy writing novels. This one relates back to my classical education all those years ago. I went to school in the days when you could get a classical education in state schools. I met a wonderful teacher. He took the line that you needed to learn the languages, and you should do that in about 6 months in order to read all the wonderful literature. So we did. We just took him at his word. So I read Euripides, Thucydides, Aristotle, and so on, and we had a great time. I thought it was a wonderful world. You know, earlier the dawn of civilization in Western Europe, really. But later, I learned a lot more about it. I learned about the dark side of ancient Greece, and that's what's inspired me to write this novel.
So, briefly, avoiding spoilers and the obvious, what is The Immigrant Queen about? And is it a work of fiction or is it a biography?
It's a work of fiction, but it's based on fact. And most of the events that happened in it really took place, more or less, as I relate them. And you'll find in the back a little directory and a timeline that explains how it all fits together. The Immigrant Queen, as I call her, Aspasia, well, she wasn't really a queen, but she was the partner of Pericles, the leading statesman of Athens in its golden age. And she was a remarkable person. For a start, she wasn't necessarily Greek. We don't really know. She was certainly an immigrant, and she was very talented. She was the only woman accepted into Sophocles' circle. And I don't mean Sophocles, I mean Socrates, the philosopher, I'm sorry, although she was involved with the theatre. Now, at that time, of course, women were not regarded as philosophers. We know she wrote her own dialogues, and there's a lot of evidence from the comments of others that she may have developed some of the ideas which are associated with Socrates, in particular, the whole technique of conversation, of question and answer, of probing someone to get to the root of their ideas. That is certainly seen as something that Aspasia, the Immigrant Queen, originally developed. But she was a woman, so nobody bothered to copy her dialogues out when they were copying out the dialogues of Plato and others. So we've lost them. All we've got are quotations by other people and respectful comments. So she was a philosopher, but she was also someone who was influential in the theatre. She's mentioned many times positively in the plays of Aristophanes. She was also somebody who was clearly a friend of other philosophers, of historians. She was involved in the cultural development of Athens, all the wonderful buildings that everyone goes to see, the Parthenon and so on. She may well have been the model for the statue of Athene that stood inside that temple. There's evidence of that and various comments on it. And she had an influence on life. She was the first lady of Athens, and she was a woman. And now I find people know virtually nothing about her. They may have heard of Pericles, They may have heard of the war against Persia, the struggle of the 3000. They may have heard of Odysseus. They may have heard of the plays of Euripides, of Electra. They may have heard of Agamemnon, but nobody really seems to have heard of Aspasia. That's why I wanted to write about her.
And now you have written a book about her. There will be people who will learn so much more about this rather fascinating woman.
I hope so.
Peter, what challenges did you face in bringing Aspasia back to life for the modern reader?
It was certainly a challenge for me. I knew quite a lot about her, and we do have enough information to put together her life story, but we don't know the details. We don't know really what it felt to be like Aspasia, to be taking on all the weight of this male-centered and Athenian-centered society, to be someone who came in from outside, knew that she was a remarkable person, knew what capabilities she had, and managed to make her own way. And that's what I've tried to write about, really, write about how she related to her women friends. And we know she had various women friends, though, of course, very little is recorded about them because they were women. And we know that she related to a wide range of the important people in Athens, but we don't know how it felt to be doing that. Was she forever nervous, forever feeling that, gosh, I've really taken on too much, I've really bitten off more than I can chew? Or was she feeling confident in herself, knowing that she was the equal of these people, at least? Was she enjoying it? Was it all great fun to be achieving so much? We just don't know. So I've got my own take on that, and I've tried to convey it in the novel.
So, and if people come along and listen to you, you're going to tell them a bit of the story as well as the background.
Yes, certainly. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the other novels that are written about ancient Greece. Ancient Greece seems to be fascinating to us. And in many ways, it's a society like ours. It's a mass of contradictions. On the one hand, we have tremendous achievements, all the things we can do physically. We're, despite being a very small country, influential in all sorts of ways throughout the world. But at the same time, we've got our shortcomings, our dark side. We suffer from the curses of racism. We suffer from xenophobia. We suffer from an inability to recognize the achievements of women and to reward women as they should be rewarded for what they contribute to our society. We're still an unequal society, despite our concern with democracy. And all these things reflect issues which are important in ancient Greece and in which ancient Greeks had to deal with as well. So I think there's an interesting reflection there that people may want to think about a bit.
I think they're going to relate to the fact that perhaps society really hasn't changed a bit, has it?
I think that's true, sadly.
Which is very sad. Peter, thank you so much. So if you go to a show because you're fascinated by ancient Greece or just enjoy discovering new stories and books to read, then get your tickets for Sunday the 12th of October at 4:00 in the Alexander Centre, online at favershamfringe.co.uk/what's on, and ensure you and your friends catch Peter telling his story, reflecting on what he's discovered and reading from his book. Thank you, Peter, for talking to Radio Faversham and the people of Faversham today.
Well, thank you very much, Wendy.
It's a pleasure.